There are business people in Britain who've been campaigning for their country to exit the European Union. Pam Watts complains that the EU is isolating itself from world trade.
It purports to have 50 trade agreements, but there were tiny, irrelevant states. And so they're stopping us from being able to get out there and trade globally. And that is so important in today's globalised economy.
And then there are business people like Camille McGull, for whom a British exit from the EU would be a nightmare scenario.
There are lots of agreements that already are agreed, and they will reopen and have to renegotiate. How long it will take, how damaging it will be to the economy, nobody can tell, really.
Camille McGull is a qualified engineer and self-made man. His company earns around 150 million euros annual revenues. He supplies components to Daimler, BMW and other car makers in the EU and overseas. The European single market saves his company money.
At the moment we're selling to Germany, France, anywhere in Europe, like we're selling in the UK. If we're outside of the European market, it will be an export. For export, we've got a lot of export paperwork. We've got a lot of money tied up. We'll have to get clearance in the ports. We'll have to do a lot of things that today we don't do.
And what could his employees expect if Britain decided to leave the EU? The workers at this machine come from Lithuania, Slovenia and Poland. Would they have to apply for a visa?
We don't produce enough engineers, enough skilled people here in ourselves. So if these people will have to go back home, we will have a serious problem. We spend years of training, highly skilled, highly motivated people. They're part of the community here. And if they won't be able to stay, it's a big problem.
Pam Watts also employs workers from other EU countries. But she doesn't believe they'd be forced to leave the country immediately if Britain left the EU. Sweet Kuzakowski recycles electronics and sells the materials all over the world, all according to EU regulations.
It's way too bureaucratic for companies like mine. Compliance is a massive issue for us. And what is the point in having legislation when 28 member states are allowed to interpret it differently?
Pam Watts had to invest over 2 million euros in new machinery to comply with new EU provisions. Competitors in the Netherlands interpreted the same provisions more liberally, and now they're producing cheaper. Pam Watts appears to have wasted her money. She says small companies like hers are often pushed aside by EU legislation.
We have no access to Brussels, and of course if we did want to, we'd have to be able to employ a very expensive lobby company. And in fact, we inquired about that, and the starting fee just to get them on board was £10,000. We can't afford that. So it's fine for corporates, they have their lobbyists, but little companies like mine have no say in Europe at all, none.
These two business owners have two very different takes on Britain's future, one outside and one inside the EU.
We had lots of concessions as England because of our currency and our that, then our condition is best than the rest of Europe. So I think we could carry on and develop that even further. To be the best condition while we are in.
There is a big world out there. There are lots of options. We have China, India and the States, South America, even Africa's growing. Europe's the only continent not actually economically growing at the moment.
What consequences would a Brexit have for Britain's economy? That's the prize question and a subject of fierce debate.